Right now, the United States is trapped in a brutal 1-2 punch of winter storms. From Texas to the Carolinas and up to New York, at least 147 people are dead, insured losses already near $6.7 billion, and more than 2,400 flights are canceled. Here is the important part. Another wave of snow and Arctic cold is still coming. In late January and early February, the United States was hit by a rare back-to-back winter assault. First, Winter Storm Fern spread heavy snow and ice from New Mexico and Texas through the Midwest into the Northeast. Then a powerful Atlantic bomb cyclone, often called Winter Storm Gianna, slammed into the Carolinas and the Southeast. Arctic air plunged deep into the South, locking in days of sub-freezing temperatures. Together, these systems turned more than 30 states into one long winter disaster zone. Next, we look at how the damage adds up.
Y'all be careful, Lev. Oh, shit!
Over the last 24 hours, the atmosphere has refused to calm down. A weaker Alberta clipper slid in from Canada, laying a fresh 1 to 2 inches of snow from Indiana and southern Ohio into West Virginia and the Mid-Atlantic, with slick roads around Washington, D.C. and parts of New Jersey. The National Weather Service kept winter weather advisories and freeze alerts in place as far south as Georgia and Florida, and a stronger system is lining up for late week, targeting the Great Lakes and the I-95 corridor. Next, we break down the economic hit and the growing stress on the power grid. The economic shock is already clear. Private insurers using models from the firm Karen Clark and Company would now estimate about $6.7 billion in insured losses from this winter blast across more than 30 states. That puts Fern and Gianna among the costliest winter storms since the 2021 Texas disaster, when payouts reach $15 to $20 billion. At the same time, the power grid is under heavy strain. PJM Interconnection expects generating units on outage or reduced output to climb to 25.72 gigawatts, up from 19.96 the day before, almost matching the 26.1 gigawatt peak during January's deep freeze. Extended Arctic air is choking fuel supplies to coal and gas plants, even as spot gas and power prices in the Northeast finally begin to cool. Next, we turn from the numbers to the people living through this cold. From the Carolinas to Florida, the human impact is growing every day. On the Outer Banks of North Carolina, at least 4 beachfront homes near Buxton have already collapsed into the ocean as waves, erosion, and bitter wind eat away at the shoreline. Inland, families are entering a second week of biting cold and long outages. In Nashville, more than 20,000 customers are still without power, and city leaders have ordered a review of the utility storm response. In Florida, fern growers preparing for Valentine's Day are watching sensitive crops freeze in the fields. NOAA and NASA describe this as Arctic air, pushed unusually far south and locked in place for days. Next, we look at the regions buried under the deepest snow and the chain of storms that hit them. Satellite images from NASA show a bright white swath of snow stretching from West Virginia through Virginia into North and South Carolina after what local climate experts in North Carolina call a once-in-a-lifetime winter storm. Parts of the central coastal plain picked up more than a foot of snow, with New Bern at about 12.5 inches, Newport near 15 inches, and Pelletier buried under almost 20 inches, amounts not seen there since 1989. Even Florida felt the edge of this Arctic blast, with rare flurries near Tampa, frost threatening strawberry fields, and viral images of alligators under thin ice and iguanas stunned by the cold. All of this came on top of Winter Storm Fern, which put more than 300 million people under winter alerts and left over half the continental United States snow-covered, followed days later by bomb cyclone Gianna slamming the Carolinas with near-blizzard conditions and more than 190,000 power outages. Next, we ask what this death toll and infrastructure damage say about how prepared the country really is. When you add it all up, this winter sequence is more than a freak accident. It exposes how vulnerable large parts of the country remain to cold, ice, and heavy snow. Many homes and water systems in the South were never built for repeated deep freezes, so pipes burst and ceilings collapsed when temperatures stayed below freezing for days. Power grids that depend heavily on gas and aging coal plants struggled when fuel supplies were constrained. Scientists at NOAA, NASA, and the World Meteorological Organization have warned that a warming climate can still produce intense cold outbreaks, to often pair with more extreme swings in moisture and storm tracks. Here is the important part. Without stronger planning, building codes, and clear public guidance, the next Fern or Gianna could again turn a weather event into a national emergency. Next, we close with what this means for families watching tonight and how they can prepare for the next storm. For millions of people, Fern and Gianna will be remembered not just for record snow and ice, but for the moment daily life stopped when power, heat, and water failed. If you found this breakdown helpful, please like the video, share it with someone who may face winter storms, and subscribe so you do not miss future updates. In your view, what is the most important step your community should take before the next major winter storm? This video uses real, with verified information from official sources to explain winter storm risks and safety tips. Always follow the latest guidance from local officials in your area.